Good morning. I'm a student at FIU Education Program. My name is Cara Vera, and I'm sitting this morning with Kemi Adosanyan. And according to the Nigerian Bar Association Section on Business Law website, Kemi Adosanyan is an international trade development specialist and director for African Trade Expansion Program at the World Trade Center, Miami. In this role, she facilitates two-way trade between the Americas and Sub-Saharan Africa. Welcome, Kemi.
Thank you, Ms. Cara, for having me.
So this morning we are discussing the situation that's occurring right now in sanctions that the U.S. is imposing upon Rwanda in the discussion of used clothing trade. Please tell us some background of the situation.
Okay, thank you. The U.S. has a preferential trade treatment, which is available to about 38 to 40 sub-Saharan African countries, called AGOA. AGOA is African Growth and Opportunity Act. It's a trade preference that allows about 40 countries from sub-Saharan Africa to bring in about 7,000 products, different products into the U.S. market without tariff or duty. So this was created some 18 years ago to facilitate economic growth and to improve competitiveness for those countries. But recently, Rwanda got taken out of that program in the textile sector, for textile only. I mean, I just mentioned that the products in this category range from about 6,000 to 7,000 different products, agricultural products, different types of products. But for the textile category, Rwanda was just suspended from benefiting from the AGOA program because the government of Rwanda is resisting the importation of used clothes into Rwanda by U.S. manufacturers or U.S. exporters. The government of Rwanda took this decision to, grow its local industry, and the dumping of used clothes would not allow local products in Rwanda, the local industry, the local textile industry to grow. This is an industry that focuses on women empowerment because so many women are involved in the textile industry in Rwanda. They produce clothes like what I'm wearing. It's capital intensive, is also labor intensive. So these clothes would not do very well. This industry will not survive as long as the U.S. continues to dump used clothes on them because they will not be able to compete. These used clothes are priced way below what the local products can sell at. So based on that, the local producers will not have demand for their products, and this is going to really kill the local industry. So it's a way for the government of Rwanda to protect this industry and to allow their own industry to grow, because this is an industry that creates a lot of employment for women, as I have talked about, and it is a major contributor to the GDP of Rwanda. So it makes sense for Rwanda government to say we want to develop this industry, and so we cannot allow importation of this category of product, not new clothes but used clothes, to continue to come into our market. And because of that,
so we're here talking, Kemi, about a marketplace, for example, in Rwanda, where somebody wants to buy a blouse, and this one is very beautiful. Please give me an example of the price difference between a used blouse and this one that was produced in Rwanda.
So the used clothes being dumped into the market sells for about maybe $4, $3, $4. And these locally made clothes cost about $10. I was actually in Rwanda not too long ago, and I bought a piece there, and not this particular one, for about $10, $15, depending on the accessory and how beautiful it is and the kind of intensive labor that went into preparing or making those local dresses. It's not like the people don't have the financial capacity or the disposable income to be able to afford that. I mean, the people of Rwanda, it's just that when they see something that is available, an alternative, they would not go for the locally made product. So the government is saying we have to prevent influx of this category of products, so that we can help our local industry to survive.
And what implication do you see for the nation of Rwanda in other categories of charitable donations, or perhaps even your work with the continent of Africa in these trade negotiations? What do you see as a future path depending on the outcome of this situation, this impasse?
So now Rwanda is the first country to push back on the US in terms of this particular, benefiting from the AGOA program. And I see a situation where other countries will also receive the boldness to be able to challenge the US in other sectors. Now it depends on each market, it depends on each country. Rwanda's focus is textile. So Rwanda is benefiting from AGOA in other places where they don't have a problem with the US. There's bilateral relationship and understanding, but it's just for this textile category, because that is a sector where Rwanda's government has put a lot of programs in place to empower local manufacturers so that they can be competitive. And all that the government is saying is give us a little time so that we can develop our industry, and when we have that capacity to be able to compete, and then we can open our market for you guys to come in. So I see everybody in the continent is looking at how this is going, and how Rwanda will survive this. And I think the country is doing pretty well, because even without them benefiting under this AGOA scheme, the government is also putting programs in place to support export of these locally made products, to be able to even come into the US without benefiting from AGOA. So I see a situation where other countries will also take a cue from that, and they will be able to push back on what developed countries are doing to suppress the local industries that they are planning to develop. So for other countries, it may not be textile, it may be another product. For example, Nigeria has just banned the importation of rice because the country is now self-sufficient. It can produce sufficient amount to feed the people, and the government does not want importation of rice into the country anymore. So this does not affect the US. The US does not export so much rice into the Nigerian market, but for other countries that are affected, this will also be something that will be a challenge in terms of the relationship, the future relationship. But largely, other countries are watching what Rwanda is doing, and they will be able to replicate in other industries where they want to protect.
So then this is a global situation, because as you say, there are import-export relationships with other countries around the globe, and the African nations are starting to unite in setting up a negotiation table. For example, I believe that the US does export a lot of wheat to Nigeria, and wheat might push rice out of the marketplace if the wheat is exported into Nigeria at a sufficiently low price, I'm imagining.
Yes, although the US has the program, the AGOA, has really helped a lot of African products to be able to come into the US, so it's into the US market. So the relationship is cordial. It's just that every government has to do what is best for its people.
Of course.
As a trade development specialist, I'm not in favor of protectionism. This is what they're doing. I'm in favor of free trade. I advocate for free trade. I promote open market, but each government has to decide what's best for its people. And also, I believe that how to move forward in the future is for a framework for negotiation to be created, where every country can have a fair negotiation on what's going to benefit its people and the economy, so that every economy is growing and developed countries do not continue to suppress weak and low-income countries, so that they can also grow their economy and have the capacity to be able to compete globally.
And so to summarize, I think it would be fair to say that this discussion is really about a balance of power globally in a world of globalization, and to support growing economies through fair practice and not simply by dumping charity, which actually destroys this very people that are supposedly receiving help. Thank you, Kemi. I appreciate so much your candid and fair explanation of a very complex situation, and I'm looking forward also to hearing a positive outcome for this negotiation in Rwanda and moving forward on a more fair status.
Thank you so much.